Boom! Hard in. But it's not just me. And no, it's not Lexi. But back with me is Alex.
Almost a Lex.
Almost a Lex. I had to add an extra A on there. Yeah, Lexi's out. She's out in Texas, of all places. I'm not quite sure why, but that's where she is. I just realized my laptop's there, but nobody can read it. That's a good thing. But yeah, no, everyone, welcome to Gotham. We're here to just give some respects and some shout outs to Arleen Sorkin, who we lost over the weekend. It was a whole weird situation on the weekend anyways. Someone reported it on Twitter, and I didn't actually really believe it until Mark Hamill posted about it, because Variety wasn't picking it up, which I thought was weird, or Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, I'm assuming, Alex, you found out on Sunday just like everybody else.
Yeah, no, just as you described, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of I saw it on Instagram first, and then sort of went to search some, Twitter accounts that I thought might have a better, and they hadn't even posted anything yet. So
yeah, it was weird because it was just because how we've seen this before where Twitter's been like, hey, so and so has passed away, and then everyone does their things, and then they find out it's not true.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh my god, I hope it's one of those. Like, I hate those people who do that, but there was a part of me that's like, I hope this is just like awful, right? But yeah, just like Alex saying, like, yeah, we lost Terry Funk, Bray Wyatt, Arleen, Bob Barker. It was lost a lot of people in 1 week, but we're not necessarily here to like dwell on it, because we want to like talk about like her importance and how she kind of like that one character completely changed Batman. It changed Batman the animated series. Yeah. Oh, dude, I got
OG figure. Nice.
Right. I got mine too, and it was just like, I think even I should have got it out, but I even have the Toy Fair Kenner catalog, or their showcase book, that has this figure in there as well, right? Like it was a big deal. Like I remember like even like Toy Fair and Wizard, like just she was like the number one hottest figure for months. And but yeah, it's been crazy how that one character completely changed, and it she became one of the biggest characters in DC Comics, and it didn't happen. It felt like for some of us it happened overnight, but it really didn't. Yeah, Alex, your thoughts on when you first seeing Harley Quinn?
Well, it is yeah, it is interesting, because like I think just like the testament that she like got a figure in the line, this like a new character. I mean, there were, animated versions of much more established Batman villains that like didn't get figures, but like, so I think this just speaks to like how immediately she like resonated with like, it's like that kind of embrace, like especially when you have something like Batman that's been around for decades, to have a new character that just gets embraced. I mean, I'm sure there were people who were like, not having it at the time, but she seemed to like have a place in people's hearts pretty quickly.
It's true. Like I found that like in the 90s, when you think about new characters that showed up that like took the world by storm, she's kind of like the one big standout, because she did appear first in a cartoon. Like we haven't seen the only characters I only think of like that appeared first in something outside of the comics that became major mainstays were Jimmy Olsen and Lex Luthor, whose first appearance were in the Superman radio plays.
Right.
And I can't really think of anything like that had that. Like even Bane, he came in the 90s as well. He also became a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
and embraced by fans pretty quickly as well.
Yeah.
But he appeared in the comics, right? Like it's
Yeah, I guess I guess Batman is sort of that the rogues gallery. If someone strikes the right chord, they're just a part of it. It's a ever accumulating list. Um,
yeah,
but
no, you're absolutely right.
my as a so I was like 6 when Batman the Animated Series was on, and I was like very scared of the Joker. So like anytime there's like a Joker episode or like Joker showed up, I was like, uh-oh. like
Yeah.
I'd watch it. I'd watch the show. But so like through association, like as a kid, I was initially like also not scared, but like creeped out by Harley Quinn as a kid because I was like I remember specifically feeling like disturbed by the notion that like the Joker's like so evil that he could like corrupt a normal person, like I I don't know, it was some I don't know if it was like the man who killed Batman, where like
Yes.
Harley, you see her as like Harleen Quinzel, without the makeup and everything, and then she gets like changed into her costume in the car, and I just remember being like, "Oh my god, it's Harley Quinn! The Joker's gonna show up!" and being like freaked out by that, like a sensitive kid, but it wasn't until, but then like a year later, maybe or two, or whenever, like I remember the episode Harlequinade, I think, where
Yes.
she teams up with Batman. I remember seeing like the previews for that. It's like, oh, Harley Quinn is like with Batman, and like seeing her in that context. I can remember as a kid being like decide like being like, oh yeah, I like Harley Quinn. Like this character is great.
It's
Not creepy anymore.
That's awesome. No, that is like because I was like, so it would have been so I was 12, 13, like watching Batman animated series, and it was like one of those shows I was just absolutely obsessed with. Like it became like a measuring stick. Like it was that and X-Men, right? Like it was
Yeah.
for a lot of us, in those early 90s. Like those were the two shows you watched. And man, I remember like again, like just Harley just showing up and just always kind of being like, okay. And then it wasn't until she started like reoccurring, you start to notice it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's fun. And then she started getting her own episodes. And I'm like, this is the best. And because again, it was one of those things where he doesn't have a lot of women in his rogues gallery.
Right.
Unfortunately, the one thing he still really doesn't have a lot of women in his rogues gallery because all of them turn into like anti-heroes.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing now. None of them are really like bad anymore. They're all kind
Yeah.
of, well, the Harley
Which is
Quinn,
kind of a shame.
yeah, which is kind of a shame, right? And it's and I've seen people get, well, it's Twitter, everyone gets into fights, but I've seen people like, just Tom King will post something and people just going after him like, how dare you make Poison Ivy a bad person? It's kind of like, whoa. How long have you been reading comics? like what is happening? But it's but I mean, like that's the other thing too. Like it was her other relationships with the other rogues that she had. And another one too that always like sticks in my head outside of, it's one of those ensemble episodes where they kidnap Batman and take him to court
Yeah, the
after they all
trial.
escape Arkham, the trial, right? Like that one too, where all of a sudden she's like getting put on the spot. Like, so what you're saying is, you would have been like this because of the joke. Is it the Joker's fault or Batman's fault you're like this? And that's where you really start to get deeper with that character. And I think that's what kind of where they started to like really think about it. We got Mad Love.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was like the first tease because that was probably before the comic even, and that was sort of like, Paul Dini kind of incepting a little bit of the backstory. As a kid, I remember that episode where Janet Van Dorn is like, she's like, you were a doctor here at Arkham until the Joker twisted your mind. I was like, I knew it.
Yep.
He's just evil. He makes people insane. She was normal. She was a doctor. Then he made her insane. That's so disturbing.
But that's what makes that relationship, well, to me, work. Like, there's a part of me today that's still kind of like, I miss those two as a toxic couple dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
But I also see why they've moved past it, because she's become just as big as the Joker. If, like, you know, she's getting her own movies too at this point, right? Like, and another thing, because I just want to bring up like Arleen's performance on this. I guess I should say hi to the chat, but I will after we'll talk about. And I think someone even said earlier when I first jumped on here about her voice, and to me, the voice of Harley Quinn, which is like Arleen Sorkin, like dialing it up a notch. She, like, the voice is more iconic than the costume.
Yeah.
Right? Like, where it doesn't matter what she's wearing, as long as she's got a pale face, the blonde hair, and the voice, that's how I know right off the bat. It's like, you know, oh, that's Harley Quinn.
Yeah. That's the vocal performance is what elevated. I mean, it's like, so Harley Quinn she has 3 creators. It's Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, Arleen Sorkin. Like, all 3 of them contributed to, and that's probably why the character is so successful, is because it was just this sort of like, you know, this perfect balance of like creative forces, and yeah, her vocal performance, her acting performance, like, is what endears the character to you. I mean, it's a great design. Like, it's you know, Bruce Timm's design is awesome. Paul Dini's idea is great, and he writes the best dialogue for her. But the acting performance makes her, you know, because like that character, you know, as any like hench character, sidekick character, could be annoying or lame, but she just, you know, made
like
the
like
character
a replacement Harley in Joker's Millions.
yeah, exactly. Well, the character could have so easily been that, or just a, you know, because like I feel like that sort of like Queen's accent was like a popular go-to in 90s cartoons, you know, like, you know, Janine from Ghostbusters, and the girlfriend from Toxic Avengers. Like, I'm sure it was like I'm sure there are many more examples, but it was really more. It wasn't just that accent. It was, you know, she was able to imbue the vocal performance with like so many different layers. Like, she could be funny. The comedic timing was excellent, and that's such a big part of the character. But she could also be kind of dark, you know, like you believed watching the cartoon that, like, in some ways, like, Harley was just as, you know, capable of being. She was like warped and twisted by the Joker. Like, she was going along with that stuff and could be just as, like, you know, crazy and tough. But then also like sweet and misguided, like being able to have all of that spectrum of personalities all in one performance is like really something.
Yeah, and the other side of her that she had too, that she did so well, was you could sympathize with her. She was a victim, right? Even though she's making all these choices, she's still a victim of the bullshit that Joker puts her through. And you could, it's so crazy. Like, yeah, there was always something about her that you always, even though she's like about to tear open, you know, Commissioner Gordon on a dentist chair.
Yeah.
That she strapped him to, right? Or she's even ready to kill Batman by putting him in the fish tank upside down. You know, like, she's capable of all of that, but you still root for her, which is another crazy testament to her performance. Like, it was so good. I should quickly say hello to the chat. It's been like 15 minutes. I got to get better at doing this when I have guests, and saying hello to the chat. But thank you everyone for being here. We got like almost 40 people watching. So thank you. Thank you for coming here, hanging out. honoring Arleen Sorkin tonight. We got Stephen Lawrence. We've got Toy Art. Zach, how you doing? Andrew's Gady's Toys. Also, again, I'll give this man props every show. One of the coolest Instagrams you will ever see, as well as Johnny Cock, my boy. He's an amazing artist as well. Everyone go check out his Instagram. He does some beautiful, beautiful work. I'll just read his comment. I didn't grow up with cable when we moved to Canada, so I missed having regular access to so many TV shows as a kid. Looking back, I really wish I got to watch Batman the Animated Series and Reboot when they were airing. I think you grew up in Calgary, Johnny. I know in Saskatchewan, I also did not have cable, but we had it on STV, which is now Global, when I was growing up. So maybe you had it and maybe you just missed it. That is Copter. Thank you for being here. We got Black Phoenix 77, Attack Peter, and everyone.
Hey, Peter.
If you haven't watched his show tonight, go check it out. It's awesome. He's got Ralph on there to talk about Ahsoka, and Ralph is from the Howard Stern show. It is absolutely hilarious to listen to because he says he likes Star Wars. I question that, but he might, but it was really funny and it was great. So everyone just go check it out because I actually had a pretty good laugh. Nolan is here. Allison Troy, Dorlaxian, Manic Mike, woo. Navanjart is here, and boy Yordi, I like that. Superman radio serials were awesome. I agree. I've been working my way through them recently. They are on Spotify and they are on iTunes, like the Apple podcast. So you can listen to all of them, and they have all the old ads, especially for the old serials where you can collect buttons and stuff. It's really kind of fun to watch or listen to. Had a cassette set of them as a set as a kid. That's actually really cool. And Stanley is here, and Matt Bush is here. Our boy, our favorite. And Kayla Silva is here. Chad Stewart. Awesome. Thank you everyone for being here. And thank you here for all hanging out. But yes. All right. Let's get back to it. We're talking about Arlene's performances, and did you like I'm going to assume you've seen all the Justice League stuff as well.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a little hazier in my memory.
It's a little hazier. Well, we could quickly talk about the Batman Superman team up as well then.
Yeah.
World's Finest. Where we see Harley Quinn go up against Mercy. And I feel like Mercy, for those who don't know, Mercy is Lex Luthor's Amazonian bodyguard. She is an Amazon. She is from Themyscira, which I thought was an interesting thing.
Wait, really?
Yes.
What?
That's what. Yes, that's a thing. I swear to God,
is that in the cartoon or the comics?
I can't remember. I hope I didn't just make that up.
That's crazy,
right? That's why she's so
Makes
strong.
Sense. Yeah,
and but it's great because those two scrap it out. You get the two henchwomen legit beating the shit out of each other in the background.
I may have mentioned it last time, but I learned recently that those episodes were animated by Studio Ghibli or Ghibli, and they do the like Harley Quinn's little like ear things like move up and down like the way they animate like pigtails and stuff on Ghibli films. Like it's got that very distinct like Miyazaki little effect to punctuate her like animation.
Yeah, I remember World's Finest coming out like when it first aired, and they played it all like one movie, and they played it on primetime. It was like Batman animated series and some I think the first Superman episode and Batman Beyond, the first pilot for that too. All of those got primetime releases, which is still to me like, well, because of streaming, we don't do that anymore. But it was like super special at that time to be like, the only thing you got in prime time that was animated was Simpsons. Right. So to get something that was like Batman and then all of those being so good. And I
think over here it was Batman was initially prime time, and also like Pinky and the Brain, like those were
Yeah,
on at like 8 o'clock.
man. Pinky, I need to do Pinky and Brain tonight. I need to do one of those episodes because like that is another series that just I feel like has gotten lost in the sands of time. But
Yeah, I haven't revisited it since I was a kid, so I
yeah,
do.
same here.
Yeah.
Right, those were so good. Like I loved Animaniacs and all that stuff. Like,
My brother got me a cameo for my birthday one year. That's Maurice LaMarche doing Orson Welles' Frozen Pea ad, which is essentially the brain
yep,
voice. And oh my god, it's amazing.
that is so good. I love that. That's awesome. But yeah, no, like again, World's Finest. It's so cool seeing her animated in like you said, like so just clean and so high, like just high quality. Like that whole thing is so good.
I love the robot at the end that has like, like I think it's like Lois and maybe Mercy are both tied to it, and so every time Superman goes to punch it, like spins around and he can't hit it
Yeah,
because there's a hostage tied to it. Like the animation of that, and also just the like the that's such like an evil idea that of course the Joker would do is like really really good.
I just like how he steals Lex Luthor's plane, but then gets Harley to paint the lines on it to look like a smile.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Which at first you're kind of like, what is this? Like supposed to be like a referee's shirt or like a Z?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a smile. I get
Smile. Yeah.
it.
It's so good. And again, that's just and that whole like high quality of animation seemed to transfer onto Justice League. And there's only one 3-parter episode of Justice League with Harley and the Joker in it. Because after that, we never got really any more. I don't think we got any more animated Harley after that, or at least Arleen doing. And I think after that it was Arkham Knight. And then what was so fun about the Justice League episode? I think it was just a 2-parter, and her and the Joker scattered bombs throughout Las Vegas.
Yeah,
and the Justice League had to go and stop them in time. Like it's just so cool.
yeah. No, I haven't seen that episode in a while, but I remember it being pretty good. Pretty
right.
fun.
I love all that stuff. And then after that, yeah, she did
Arkham Asylum.
She did Arkham Knight, or Arkham Asylum. Yeah, that was the first one, Arkham Asylum. Yeah, she did that one, and then that was it. I was told by Andrea Romano, she retired.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but still, like, that was a lot of years doing the same character, regardless of how often or not she did it.
It's an amazing legacy for sure. She also had a I don't know what the timetable would be with Justice League and the Arkham game, but she had a live action appearance on my other favorite show, the final episode of Frasier.
Frasier, yes.
Because she was married to Christopher Lloyd, not the actor, the
producer,
creator of Frasier. And so she's in the final episode of that. During
she did voices for the Collins on that show.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah. That they would she would do the what like Kelsey Grammer was acting against it on the day that they would get the celebrity voice to
come in. I thought that was super. I want to point out Randall's comment here. Paul Dini created Harley with Arleen, which is very true, in a mind-based, I think it's supposed to be the mime or whatever, but mind-based episode of Days of Our Lives. She was the one that everyone fell in love with. Also, Paul Dini and Arleen Sorkin knew each other in college. So this is even before she was on Days of Our Lives. They went to college together, and they were already friends then at that point. And he has stated, I think it's even in Batman Animated, the book. I think he's stated it in the book, and he has stated multiple times how it's like he wrote Harley Quinn for Arleen. And it's like, yeah, I think we could. I'll let you grab
What, this book?
yeah, this one right here.
The
What-
Harley
and
Quinn
what's
page. And this is Paul Dini's first sketch of her, I believe. This is.
let's make you big. There we go. That
And
is
so
the first sketch, and Bruce Timm said no.
Yeah. It's a bit Adam West, Batman
It is.
66. But yeah, like you can see the influence from the Days of Our Lives episode for sure.
Absolutely. And it is on YouTube, the whole thing. And you can watch other clips too. Like she even did, I don't know if, here's another thing people probably don't know. She co-hosted America's Funniest People with Dave Coulier on the first season. Right? So she was doing that with him. And what else? And the other thing I read, she helped co-write with Paul Dini some episodes of Tiny Toons.
Oh wow.
Right? Like it's so funny how like she was kind of dabbled in all these different things. And if you can find it on YouTube, she actually appeared as a guest on Arsenio Hall.
Oh man.
Yeah,
that'd be cool to see.
She talks about being like one of her first jobs being a shoe model. Or no, at the time she was still doing shoe modeling. Right? And then she talks about her first job, which then she found out might have actually been an escort service. Which again is wild. But yeah, you're right. Like her husband, you mentioned earlier too, her husband being Christopher Lloyd, again, not the actor. He was also the showrunner on the Goldbergs.
Oh wow.
Right. So when I was in LA, I met Andrea Romano, who I had to get to sign my book. Right? Like I had to get her to sign it. And so when I met Andrea Romano, because I kind of asked, that's where I found out she retired, because I was like, she doesn't do conventions. Like, what is she like? Is everything okay? Like, because you can't help it. You have to ask, like, why wouldn't she do conventions? She's Harley Quinn. She's like, you know, one of the biggest characters. And she even said, like, hey, if you go do the Warner Brothers tour, like the studio tour, go to the Goldberg set. She might actually be there. She's actually there quite often. Like, that's where I see her.
Oh wow.
Because she'll be there with her husband. So of course, next day I was like, I'm doing this goddamn tour. And so when I went, I remember it was my girlfriend and I at the time, and we were like, we hop on this thing, and I'm like, okay. They're like, so what are you into? And I'm sitting in the front row because I want to be able to see. Like, I'm sitting next to the driver, like a psycho. and I'm sitting there, and I'm out in front because I want like full scan view, like just to check. And I've got the book, like I'm holding it. It's out of my backpack. I'm holding the book at this point. And the guy is just like, let me guess, you're into Batman? I said, yes, but I love the show, The Goldbergs. I love it so much. Can we go buy the set of The Goldbergs?
And he's calling security.
Like,
we got another one.
Yeah, right. Hide Arleen. We got it. But yeah, it's they were not there. They weren't even filming that day. But I was like, had to at least try. And then when during like 2020, like during peak COVID and stuff, she did an online or like a virtual signing where you could send things in, get them signed. And she was signing with Diane Pershing, who is the voice of Poison Ivy.
Wow, right.
And so they were doing duo ones, and these things were hundreds of dollars. It was like $600 for both. Like, it was like, and I was like, oh man, I didn't want to do it that way. Like, I was like, what if they lose this book?
Right.
I will murder somebody if they, plus Diane's already signed this book. So what do I do? Right? Because then it's like per item. Ah, man, I was like in such a bad case. And I remember my friend Jacqueline, who unfortunately, get this, my friend Jacqueline, she was going to come and join us tonight because she's also a big Harley Quinn fan. She did some watch alongs with me last year on the show on this channel. But she's doing a Spice Girls tribute burlesque show, and she's practicing for that tonight. So if you're in Vancouver, go check that out in September. But yeah, it's like, I remember telling her about this signing and just being like, are you doing it? She's like, I can't afford to. And I was like, well, I wonder if this means, because she's doing signings, like virtual signings, does this mean when things open up, is she going to start doing conventions? Because I was like, this seems like a good gateway to do it. And then she never did. And I was like, oh no. And now even like still today, I'm just still like, I should have just forked over the insane amount of money and just got it. Right? Like, just
that book, sent it
I should have just risked it, or even got some, like, or just sent something else to get signed. Like even the figure, right? Like I could have just 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 sent something. Because if I lost that figure, at least I know I could get it another one on card still.
Yeah,
fairly
easily.
Right, but yes, for those asking, in this book, it does go pretty high. It's been out of print for 2 decades, and if not more.
And that one is priceless. You'll never find one like that.
Yeah, it is the best, folks. And it's Chip Kidd, man. He's so good. He's got to make another. Yeah. Have you ever tried to get anyone to sign this?
No. I'm not an autograph guy. I don't think in that way, I guess. Like it never like occurs to me.
Because I do with comics. I like to get stuff signed as like a way for me to go talk to them, like talk to the writers and artists, just kind of be like, yo, I love everything you do. Thank you for keeping me out of drugs. Right? Like that's just that's how. But yeah, this was like one of the few things where I was like, okay, I gotta get Kevin Conroy, I gotta get Bruce Timm. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's even my copy of Mad Love is signed. What's that? Sorry.
It's the page you picked to have them sign is really cool. Is perfect. It's like the autographs show up well. It's iconic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. This is getting cremated with me. That's how that's going. These and my my Ecto glows, my real Ghostbusters Ecto glows. Those are all
You're like the modern day Pharaoh.
That's right. And then it's gonna get poured into an action figure. It'll be the first Ryan Dole Safubi with my ashes in it. Instead of glitter sprinkles, it'll be my ashes. It'll be one of a kind. It'll be amazing. But yeah, like I said, like this show is like, it's a super special. And it was like, once I see the voice actor, because we're losing them quickly. Like a lot of that cast is no longer with us.
I know.
Right. And I think the only white whale I really, 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 really want at this point, well, I guess there's 2 of them, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And Paul Dini. Because I have the first edition Mad Love, and I have it signed by Kevin Conroy and Bruce Timm.
Wow, nice.
First printing. And again,
you can get Dini and Hamill.
Well, Hamill, I kept thinking like, okay, he's got to do a Star Wars Celebration at some point. Come on, Mark. So I'm just I'll be the only guy at Star Wars Celebration going there with Batman stuff. But I gotta do it.
You gotta. I mean, that's how you cut through, right?
You're
like, I'm a true fan.
Yeah, that's right.
I diversify the brands.
Right. That's how I feel. And then I just love this show so much. But I want to talk about like Harley after Arleen, because it's because we were talking about how iconic the voice is. And that seems to be, even after all the designs, that's kind of like where everyone, except for again, I'm not, well, I'm not going to try and pick apart the new cartoon about the voice, but it seems like most everyone, even the short appearance that even Harley Quinn had in The Batman, which was the show that came after Batman animated series.
Oh, right. Oh, that's Hynden Welch, right?
Yes.
I thought she did
Right.
a good job. I liked her. She's got her voice is like well suited to the character, I
Yeah.
think.
Right. It's just, and again, it just seems like that's the voice everyone just kind of Tara Strong when she took
Mhm.
over as well. Right. She does that. And there's another voice actress too. She does like Harley Quinn for Bat Wheels,
Hmm.
which is about their cars. But yeah. But she does the same thing too, like where it's just like everyone kind of like just they carried that over, which is like again a huge testament to her legacy.
Yeah, I think, I mean, for me personally, it's like we're, so much, like, in my opinion, like nothing comes close to Arleen Sorkin's, original performance. Like, I mean, how could it, right? Like, it's, when a character is so much the whole package, right? If any one part isn't there, it's like, to me, it's like, well, it doesn't, that was like a lightning in a bottle thing that worked, and you can do something
Right.
different with it, and everyone kind of takes it in a different, Tara Strong is like a good example. Like, I do like her performance in like the Arkham games and stuff, but it's definitely different. Like, it's a different take
It's
on the
it's
character.
brighter. Is that the right word?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. More
Right.
childlike, I guess, like more
Yeah,
fun,
it's a little
maybe.
more Looney Tunes.
Yeah. Um, you know, whereas there's, I don't know, there's like a maturity to uh Arleen Sorkin's performance that I think kind of, it's like, it's funny. It's like the subsequent Harley voice actresses, it's like it's either too cartoony, or it's, there's not enough character in there. It's like it's
Right.
like that,
Right.
finding that perfect mix of like mature but fun, funny but sad. Like, it's
Right.
hard.
And
It's really hard
I
to
feel
cast.
like Margot Robbie still hasn't even had a chance to explore all that yet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Right. And
yeah,
who knows? Like I don't know if this is still happening. But I remember like after Peacemaker, they were talking about James Gunn was talking about doing a Harley Quinn series with Margot Robbie, which would have gave her plenty of room for growth and expanding, and
yeah.
because she's someone
I
who
feel like
also clearly loves the character.
it's such a different character at this point, though. Now, I mean, it's basically, at some point along the way, Harley Quinn became like Tank Girl crossed with Deadpool,
Cool.
and I think
Yeah.
that's what the Margot. I mean, I think Margot Robbie maybe brings something even new to the mix, but it's like it. I mean, I never even saw like Birds of Prey, so I don't know how that went
uh,
down. But I'm the one. I'm the one guy that didn't see it, but I don't know. I mean, it feels to me like the character in the comics as well. Like, it's really kind of changed quite a bit.
right. It's and yeah, you're absolutely correct. She has evolved into something completely different. But it's funny. Like I still think now today, she's one of the few. It's weird because she's not quite modern anymore because it has been so long, right? She has been around for 30
Yeah.
years. At like last year was 30 years. And uh I feel that like she's one of the few female comic book characters, period, just across the board, Marvel and everyone, where she's right up there with Wonder Woman, with like just iconic. Like
Yeah.
you could do a solo anything with her, and people will know that's Harley. People will know that's uh Wonder Woman. But like I still feel like Marvel doesn't even have that still. Like
In terms of a
Captain
female
Marvel's getting,
character.
well, I think just in terms of just like solo female characters that can just hold a franchise on their own. And I think like Captain Marvel and Black Widow might be the closest. And unfortunately, like you got strong women in X-Men, such as
Right. Like,
Storm.
for me, it's like the strongest female Marvel character, most iconic, is Storm, but she's
Right.
part of the X-Men. Like you
Correct.
know,
You don't.
it doesn't
You
feel
still
right. You
see
know, the
X-Men.
X-Men
You don't
lose
see
out,
Storm.
they remove Storm from the picture, you know, give her her own thing, you know. But
Right.
certainly if you're drawing like the mural of like iconic Marvel characters, like Storm is on there, you know, probably is the most recognizable female character, like her and She-Hulk, probably.
She-Hulk, another good example. She's great. I love that series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that series was so good. I just want to. Was it Jeremy? Jeremy, thank you for being here and hanging out, by the way. I have a Harley Quinn focused collection with over 50 figures.
Wow.
That's impressive. That's
Awesome.
super cool. That is super cool. I cannot claim to that. I might have the smallest Harley Quinn action figure. I should see if I can get her to come out. I've got the Microverse collection. I think I'm there, right? So unless you've got that one,
wow,
I can't believe I have all of these still.
So what was that? What did they? Who did that?
Okay, so Hasbro Kenner, so because they owned him at the time. So this came out around I guess this would be the late 90s. Batman and Robin came out the same year. Right? The micro craze. So they came out with like a play set, which was like Wayne Manor.
Oh, what?
Right?
Oh
Folds
my
out.
God.
You get a little bit of Gotham, you get the bank, you turn it around, you get like a Batcave Center, you get inside Wayne Manor,
like
and you get the inside of the bank and jail cells. And, yeah. And they had, and this one only came with like a Batman and I think the Joker. And then you could get like micro machines where they would have, you know how they'd have like packs of stormtroopers in the micro machine era. You could get all that. So they had a whole pack of just the villains. That's awesome. Where I got. That's where I got like the Harley, Clayface, Scarecrow, Catwoman, Mad Hatter. Like at that time, that was the only way you could get a Mad Hatter action figure, which was so funny. And then I bought there was another pack that had like the two robots, right, for Lex Luthor and Superman.
Oh,
and it came
cool.
it came with Lex, Superman, and Lois Lane.
Solid.
But here's what's really funny is that they have there's another set that I'm trying to find, and it's actually of Crime Alley.
Wow.
So they did
that's dark.
They did a play. Yeah, they did a play set.
I would have
Bruce
expected like the Batcave first. Maybe the Batcave, Arkham Asylum, but Crime Alley. You know, the movie theater was next.
Yeah, right. Like it's it was. I was actually a little like
pearls.
Yeah, they did that.
Scatter on the ground.
The only Batcave one I've been able to like know that's exists is that they did the Microverse Batcave from Batman and Robin.
Oh.
Which I would still get because it's find me a Batcave I don't like.
Yeah.
Right? They're all really cool clubhouses.
Yeah.
Right. We need Jeremy, we got to help you find one. We got to help you find some of these Microverse. Oh, pardon me. Thank you. It's all this dust. That's why all this stuff's down here on my desk. I've been taking things down and dusting. But it's but yeah, it's again, they've come up with so much cool Harley merch now too. Like, and they've always gone back. They've always done classic Harley. Did they Jamil Parks, man, did they do a Flying Grayson's Japanese set? That's the only way you can get Tony Zuko. It's
yeah, you get your kid this, you know, Haley's circus, like, you know, big top, like, oh, it's a Mighty Max goes to the circus. Why is there like a hanging rope with an acid burn?
Yeah, just a broken rope. That would be super fun. But now that you've even said that, like thinking of these, like it'd be kind of cool if like well, actually, I don't think it would be cool. I don't really. I was like, if McFarlane did these, no, these would be terrible. But like, I would have loved it if they made stuff like this still, where it was like you get like fun houses, like a
Yeah, I mean,
right
I think like, doing that like villain themed, like, like a poison ivy lair where it's like a giant, it's a Venus
botanical
flytrap that
garden,
opens up and you've got like a whole, or Mr. Freeze where it's like a completely frozen iceberg lounge. Like you
iceberg
could do
lounge.
so many great like Batman villain. I'm just giving Todd free ideas. Just
Yeah,
free.
that's. I've been doing that forever. I want Todd to watch Toy Anxiety so bad and just be like, "Hey, we should hire Doell to do superpowers playsets for us." And I'd be like, "Absolutely, here we go," and be like, "Yes, everybody wants Perry White's office from the Daily Planet. Of course they do. Why wouldn't you? If you're gonna make Condiment King as a build-a-figure, we're gonna need Summer Gleason. Come on."
Yeah, come on, Summer Gleason, build a
Yeah.
figure,
If
make it happen.
I think Tom made one, right?
Yeah, he's
He's
has
made
to have made
everybody.
every single Batman character at this point.
For any of you who do not follow this man on Instagram, I don't know how Jay holds everything up, but check this out. ZELU 1984 artist. He did a beautiful tribute with his toys, by the way, which are absolutely amazing. And he has full on figures, but he does renders as well. Like there's Sugar and Spice from Batman Forever, like stuff they've never made toys of, and he's doing God's work.
Yeah, it's amazing because he's done customs for a long time. So he's got almost every character done as like a customized action. A lot of like the DC collectibles anime, so he customized those. But then he does ZBrush now too. So he has all of these amazing digital sculpts of everything. I'll do a quick plug. He worked on the Harley Quinn for Mondo for us as well, so you can see some of his renders of Harley Quinn. Speaking of Harley merch, you've got one more figure coming your way. I saw our Harley at PowerCon up close and in person, and I just think I'm so proud and happy with how she's turned out, and I hope people really dig it. But I'm as a Harley Quinn fan, I'm like I can't wait to have this figure. Like
like it's all like again, all those figures. She's that show, that whole entire Batman the Animated Series is done in such a Art Deco simplistic style that it's just when it's translated, it looks so right.
And the simplicity makes it a challenge. Like it's actually some of the hardest things to sculpt because there's such little margin for error. Like everything has to be perfect. You can't like hide behind like detail, or it's like you have to get it right, and also it has to look right from every angle, right? So it's like, so some things you can draw it from one side, but then it has to look right from like a 3/4 or like a profile. And because Bruce Timm and the artists on that show are so good, the figures, even though they're simple in design and streamlined, they're extremely well constructed. Like the anatomy is so sound. Bruce Timm is he's like a Jack Kirby level artist, where it's just like all of the form and perspective and anatomy, it's all there in his drawings, but he can describe it with just like one line.
He is like have you met Bruce Timm?
No.
So he's exactly how you would picture an old animator who needs a smoke break.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was lucky enough when I was in high school, I worked in a classical animation studio. So everybody was still flipping papers. And I was pretty much working there as like a PA. And they would even have me go in and help do like in betweens or like clean up lines and all that kind of stuff. But they were just making cartoons in Saskatoon. So they're all doing that. And so because of that, I got to kind of know what animators are like. They're a little on the edge. They're a bit tired, right? Don't touch their shit, right? Like if you're there to clean desks and stuff, you do the basic light dusting. You don't don't clean up anyone's desk. You're right. It's all very much that. And because of that, I was already like kind of like, okay. And then, well, I guess it also helped reading Batman animated because they kind of talk about his personality in there quite a bit too.
Yeah, I think, and there's definitely like, I feel like there's a self-portrait caricature that he did that is like where he like looks, well, I guess maybe it's it's a kind of unflattering.
Dorlaxian says, I hear he's pretty salty.
Did, but like,
yeah,
what's that?
It's Dorlaxian saying here, I hear he's pretty salty, and salty is not the right word. He just does his thing, and he's cool with you, but when he's had enough, it's time to go. And if you want to get like, and don't bug him outside of the convention. I've watched people do it, and they just like, that guy's an asshole. Well, yeah, because he's eating. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've seen it happen. And but when I met him, because I was working at the Fan Expo, and his booth was like right by ours. So when we got there in the morning, I was like grabbing coffees, and I was like, hi, Mr. Tim, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm going to go do a coffee run. Would you like a coffee? And he was like, oh God, yeah, I need a coffee. And I was like, all right. Went and grabbed him a coffee. And then and when I came back, Ty Templeton was there. For those who don't know who Ty Templeton is, he did all the comic books for Batman animated series. I was just watching them meet each other for the first time.
Wow. When was this?
This, gosh, when was, I want to say 2017?
Oh, okay.
2016, wow. Right? Like that's a long, like I would have assumed they've met each other plenty of times. Or at least, or got, I guess, but really, I guess not. There would be no reason for them to go back and forth. He would have been, Ty would have been dealing with the DC offices. He would have been dealing with the Warner Brothers animated office, right? Would have been two completely different worlds. And, you know, so I guess I was lucky enough to catch him on like a good mood. I just kind of came by, nodded him, dropped off his coffee, and went back to it. And then he came by later, and he was like, "Hey man, thanks for the coffee and stuff." And he's like, "I'm doing commissions this weekend. Do you want your name on the list?" And I was like, "Yes, I need my name on the list. I absolutely need my name on the list." And so that's awesome. Yeah. So he was super nice.
And what did you get?
Catwoman.
Cool.
I was like getting Catwoman because I saw because I'm lower on the list because I swung by later kind of thing. So I saw the list, and this was even before. I don't even think the convention opened yet. I think this is all already from people that were working the convention. Like, because he only had a certain number for the day, and I was like, oh my God, this list is going to be full before the convention even starts. That sucks. Like that sucks for anybody attending the convention.
All rigged.
This is rigged. This is like the guy at Toys R Us who gets to buy all the Star Wars figures.
I knew they did that.
Yeah, God damn it. And but I saw and again too, it's just like Harley. Wonder, it was just like, okay, we all want him to draw women. It's but I'll get Catwoman. I'll switch. I'll at least switch it up a little bit. But I think to him, because he's legit just doing it all with a Sharpie, and it all looks so good. Like when I went to go pick mine up at the end of the day, like he was looking at other people still there, and he's flipping through them, and I'm like, oh my God, everyone's looks so good.
Yeah.
And I think he must have just
Insane
like
talent.
motored through them like quickly, like just right.
Well, at that
He
point,
was
you've
so
got the
nice.
10,000 hours. It's, muscle memory. It's,
Yeah, right. So he just
Um,
does it.
this is like one of my favorite comics of all time.
Yes,
Is the Mad Love
this
comic.
one and Harley and Ivy.
Yeah, also very good. But and I highly recommend getting the like hardcover. I think this is probably the most recent edition because it has, let's see, it has like, so it's I think he recolored it. So it has this kind of like more like marker.
Oh, yep.
Um, as a great
It's definitely sharper.
yeah, great, yeah. But then it also yeah, I mean you can even see like sort of like the way this is hard to do, but like the way the like highlights.
There too.
Oh, yeah, the things like the highlights on the guard here, and like it just, yeah, it has that kind of like Bruce Timm marker color treatment.
God,
But
I
then it
love that
also
book so
has
much.
his thumbnails blown up.
Oh, maybe I need to get this.
Oh, you absolutely need to get it. I mean,
Right?
these
I
are
hope.
these are the thumbnails, and it's like
Yeah.
the finished comic. Like, I think that I believe these are the thumbnails blown up. But like, I mean, just look at how good like this drawing is. Like, just amazing.
I want Todd to make an animated Harleen.
Look at this expression. So yeah, I a huge fan of this book. I really on our Harley Quinn, I really wanted to like bring across some of that Bruce Timm Harley look. And so I really, let's see, where's that iconic image? This. I was like, I
There it is.
really want to look like this to get this angle. Like, but yeah, I just
That's
his it's so iconic to me. I think this has
we're gonna wrap
his like color, like his color guides that he did.
Oh,
In the back.
I didn't
So these are
realize.
like rough. This is like rough. So I think it's digitally colored, but it's based off of these color guides that he did in marker.
That's another iconic panel from this too, is Joker slamming the door. Harley.
Oh yeah, the Harley. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you can like he found a way to draw Mark Hamill's voice.
Yeah, like you hear it. You hear that. Yes, it's gosh, it's so good.
Yeah, I highly recommend this book, and there's a lot of great like back matter where he describes the process of working on it and like working off of Paul Dini's script. There's a great panel in this comic that they don't include in the cartoon, and it's when Joker finds out. It's this page. There's this like really great beat where when Joker finds out, he's like, "You have who tied up where?" Like when he finds out that Harley captured Batman. This isn't in the show, but there's this thing of him. He's like the Joker racing in his car to get there, and he's just thinking about all the other villains like ridiculing him for like letting his like girlfriend kill Batman for him. So like that's like a very interesting added little insight into what's motivating Joker to be so awful and selfish.
God, that book, I love that. I want to bring this up, Jamil. brings up something here. There's also a Mad Love coloring book that is basically the entire story at a larger size,
Oh,
just the
sick.
inked art without color. Like
That's awesome.
that is pretty cool. I just want to let everyone know I do actually have a prize tonight because we have reached that 1 hour. I'm going to bring this up. I had a buddy donate a bunch of statues that he couldn't keep. I can't keep them either. So we do have a prize here tonight. Oh, I see Kevin from Toying Around. He's here. Kevin, hi, welcome. And Jacobson's here too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. As we wrap up, this is the prize. I'm going to drop the link to sign up for said prize. Hopefully it works. Usually I mess it up somehow. There it is. Yeah, everyone go ahead, sign on up, sign on in. We'll give you 10 minutes. Put it through there. I'm already seeing names pop up. So thank you, everyone. Thank you all for being here, just hanging out and talking Harley. Right? It's been a rough week. Right, but it's just that Mad Love, and then and I was talking, and I mentioned like Harley and Ivy. I hope they do a Harley and Ivy release like that too, where they break it down. That was
it's such a fun comic series, such a fun like madcap.
It is totally fun. It is 100% a male gaze comic. Like it is. There's no way around it. Bruce Timm and Paul Dini specifically put a scene with both of them in the shower in all 3 issues, and it at least happens once where there is a shower scene once in every issue. And it's also done in such a way that it's like they know what they're doing. Like they're very self-aware of what's happening. So it's not really done as sexy. It's more done as like, it's because it's not cheesecake. I don't even know how to put it. It's almost
Paul
like
Dini kind of like reins it in a little bit. Like he's the one. He's like the Well, I mean, there's always like a wit to it. There's always like a bit of like it's not as gratuitous. There's always like a point, even though ultimately it is like gratuitous. But there's one of the stories in the beginning of that book. I think it's drawn by Ronnie Del Carmen. I think I'm thinking of the right. It's part of that graphic novel of the Harley and Ivy series. And there's a couple short stories, short comics in the beginning. And one of them's done by Ronnie Del Carmen, who works for Pixar, and also did like storyboards on Batman the Animated Series. And he draws. It's like Harley and Ivy are having like a kissing contest to see who like how many like guards they can kiss or something like that. And like they're in Arkham. And of course, like Ivy is like she has the like pheromones, so it's like a completely unfair advantage. But I remember that actually, despite having kind of like a that kind of like cringy setup, has like it resolves in kind of like a fun, clever way. Read it to find out.
Yeah, like there's always like I think satire is also the right word too. There's always a bit of satire with it. Like they're self-aware and they're kind of making fun of themselves in a way.
Yeah.
Right. And it's again like this is Bruce Timm's. End of the day, it's Bruce Timm doing the art. So he's always going to throw in things in there that he could never get away with in the cartoon. That, oh gosh, isn't there? I think there's a whole section in the Batman animated book, and I know there's been books with other examples of shit they could not get away with.
Yeah, the standards and practices section.
Standards and practices where they reply to him and like, you can't do that, you can't do that. So of course he takes advantage of all of that stuff in these comics. I know there's one part where like they're in the middle of a fight and Harley like goes in her purse and starts emptying her purse. There's like condoms and a vibrator. It's like, it's bonkers.
They did this illustration having everything that S&P wouldn't let them get away with. It's like child endangerment, Batman choking the Joker, breaking through a window, like naked Catwoman. There's booze. He's being shot.
Drugs,
yeah. Smoking.
Yeah, strangulation. Yeah, strangulation, choking. That was one of them. it was. Oh, there we go. And this one too, right? The Harley and Power Girl is another great team up. The Amanda Connor stuff is also super good.
Yeah.
If you've never read The Pro, I would highly suggest going out and finding The Pro. It is not Marvel or DC. I think that's an Image release. It is very rated R.
Be.
Yeah, it is very rated R, but it's amazing. It is such a good book. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to make sure we touched on.
Well, do you have a favorite Harley Quinn episode? Like, I know that you mentioned Harley and Ivy being a favorite Batman animated episode, but do you have one in particular that,
like, Harley's Holiday is hands down I even have that statue of the opening card.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Like, I have that big statue. That get this, that was I can't call it a gift. It was a token of appreciation from the Anim leads from Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, wow.
So when the show was done, they presented, because I always talked about Batman animated series, and I always talked about that episode, and they went and found the statue, and they gave that was a token of appreciation, and it was one of those things that just like, what? Like, no artists have ever given me tokens of appreciation. Usually it's like, yeah, see on the next show. Right. So it was a bit of a shock. And because I don't even think they knew it was my favorite episode. But it's that ending with Batman just kind of going, like Harley's like, you still looked out for me, you still protected me. You didn't let the cops take me and beat me. And he's all like, here's your dress that you bought, because I've had a bad day too once.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's that Batman the Animated Series magic, and that's got to be a Paul Dini episode too, right? Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
You've been through this whole madcap adventure. You're like, oh, that was fun. She kidnapped, because that's when she kidnaps Veronica Vreeland by accident, and
yep.
There's this thing where all three parties are converging on them at once. It's just a huge mess. And it's fun and madcap. You're like, oh yeah, and Harley Quinn, it's a sweet, and it's there's a message, and then Batman hits you with that line, and he's got her. It's and you're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna cry now. This Batman episode, we were almost it was almost over, and now got chills.
And it's that classic delivery of, I think I made a mess on your cape.
Which I remember, there's a note in the standards and practices line. They're like, make sure that the audience knows what she means by that.
Yeah.
Flagged.
It's and again, that's, and even how that episode starts with her getting the mark of release, Scarecrow getting put in Arkham as she's leaving, and it's that next shot of her in the tie-up shirt, the booty shorts, the roller skates, blowing bubble gum, and it's the Bo and Lou, her hyenas, taking her through town, and everyone around her freaking out over the hyenas. Classic stuff.
I love that. And in our figure, Tom had the idea to include the sane document, but then also the mannequin arm that she wields, and actually the purse, everything. There's so much from that episode that made it in.
It's so good. Do you have a favorite one?
Well, I think Mad Love, because I love the comic book and everything, but I also I really like Harlequinade. That's a really great one, and that's the one where Joker steals an atomic bomb and he's just gonna blow up Gotham City, and Batman has to team up with Harley Quinn, and there's that whole section where she performs a song that was a song that Arleen Sorkin actually she was rehearsing it maybe she would do it for auditions or whatever. She told Paul Dini about it, and he was like, "Oh, I'll work it into the script." So she got to sing this song, this like funny sad song about like being abused and stuff, and it's like, and then the whole that episode has such an amazing ending where, because the Joker is such a schmuck, right? Like he's going to blow up Gotham City, and he didn't bust Harley Quinn like out of Arkham to do it.
Yep.
And at first she's like, she kind of realizes that, because she's like, oh, like what about like, Ivy and like Hat Guy, like are we gonna save them? There's no time, get in the plane. And she's like, and then maybe I think it's Batman's like, well, what about the hyenas? She's like, yeah, the babies. Like, what about the babies? Like, I'll buy you a goldfish. Like, so she realizes that he was gonna like he's a schmuck. He only cares about himself. He was gonna let her get blown up with everyone else. And so they the plane crashes or whatever, and like Joker's like, he's at that point where like he's gonna get away, right? Like his plans gone up in smoke, but he's gonna get away. And then Harley's there with like a machine gun on him, and she's like, I'm not gonna take it anymore, like, and she's like standing up to him, and then she pulls the trigger, and it's just the like, and Joker thinks he's gonna die, like, and he really sells it. Like he knows he's finally pushed Harley to the breaking point, and she's showing him like, I could end you right now, like don't forget this. And she pulls the trigger, and it just goes, the little flags come out that go like rat-a-tat-tat, like, and the Joker's just like, baby, you're the greatest, and that's and you realize like, oh, they're insane, and they kind of deserve each other in a weird way. But it's another like perfect kind of like Harley and Ivy, where it's just like, how does this relationship work? And it's because it doesn't make any sense. It's insane.
Is that the episode? Is that the same one where he's in that gunner seat?
Yeah.
And he gets knocked out and he starts spinning around.
Oh, it's so good.
That is like, I love that moment too.
I think there's a gag with it too, where because he's trying to shoot at Batman and he turns all the way around, so he almost shoots the pilot of the plane. I don't know if it's Harley flying it at that point, but it's he almost shoots the pilot of the plane.
It is that, again, such good moments.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna do this prize, folks, and we're gonna wrap it up. We've got our wheel of death, because I don't do the duck races. Geek Dad life. I don't do that. Do we want to do any eliminations, or is it going to be first name is the winner? It's your call, Alex.
I don't like the whole elimination thing. I feel like it could be like a false sense of, we'll just
no worries. I am a cruel mistress. So that's why I let everyone else do it. Otherwise, I would go all the way to the end. with no repercussions. All right, here we go. This is going to be our winner. Oh, Zach, congratulations. You are the winner. All right.
Nice.
Zach, you got me on Instagram. Shoot me your address. I will send you that Harley Quinn. That's going to be yours. Yeah, congratulations on that.
It's kind of anticlimactic without the eliminations. I take it back. We should have done the eliminations. Makes it more there's more tension.
There is more tension. It does. It creates drama.
Yeah.
The drama is fun, but you made the call, so this is on you. This is awesome. But yeah, congratulations, Zach. You got it. You got in. All right. That is it. I've got no final words. This has been really nice to kind of just reminisce and talk about Arleen. This is something I really wanted to do regardless. So thank you for bouncing this back and forth with me. It would have been tough doing this by myself tonight. Yeah. No, thank you. If you got any last words, anything you want to plug?
Nope. Just Harley Quinn's awesome character and amazing creation by Arleen Sorkin, and very thankful for what she gave to us.
Yeah, it's a gift that is still giving today, right? Like she's such a major character. But that is it. Thank you everyone for hanging out and just talking Harley and chilling out. It's been I love doing this show, and I love getting to talk about Batman stuff all the time. So this is great. So that's it, everyone. Yeah, have a good night. I'll see you if you're on the Patreon for Yes Have Some. I'll see you on Friday. I'll be doing our little Ahsoka show where we just talk. We don't even talk about the episodes. We just talk about Star Wars. And then, though I feel like I'm the only person enjoying Ahsoka at the moment. Everyone else seems to have complaints, but that's okay. That's not here nor there. And then I'll see you on Tuesday for Toy Anxiety, and I'll see you back here next week on Gotham City Tonight. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.